Hello, everybody. I'm Dan Murrell here with my thoughts on the trailer that just dropped for Spider-Man No Way Home, the movie that's coming out in December, I think. Really, I have to put a question mark after every release date at this point. I certainly hope it comes out in December because I'm excited for this movie, but the anticipation for this trailer, especially like the last 36 hours or so, I thought it was reserved for like when people were like expecting their first natural born child or something. It has been insane, but it finally dropped and we know pretty much what we already knew before the trailer dropped, but hey, now we have video to confirm it. So that's a good thing, right? So let me cut right down to it. These are my trailer thoughts because I am not a great trailer reactor. I love trailers. I love watching trailers. I'm just not a very outwardly emotive person when I'm watching, which really sucks for me because trailer reactions do so well. I'm just not great at them. I mean, I could pretend, but that wouldn't be a whole lot of fun for me or you. So this is not a trailer reaction. I watched the trailer off camera and gathered my thoughts, wrote down some notes, just scattered musings and observations about this. But if you do want something, if you want to kind of go into your own multiverse where like I am a trailer reactor, then I'll give you some faces as if I were a great trailer reactor. So, these are for your own use. Ready? Okay, so let's get into my thoughts on this trailer. I am a big Spider-Man fan, and my first overall thought is that I really do hope that the story of Peter isn't swallowed up by this kind of larger universe. This is obviously where Marvel's going for this new phase. I hope that they are still able to keep this centered on his character, because I like the characters in this franchise. I like Ned. I like Flash, played by Tony Revolori. MJ, played by Zendaya, is even growing on me. I like Aunt May, and I want to see these characters continue to have their moments in the sun and not sort of get swallowed up by the bigger machine. But it looks like we are picking this movie up pretty much where the last one left off. We have Peter and MJ. Peter's secret is out. J. Jonah Jameson has exposed his identity to everyone, and it seems like people are split on Spider-Man. We see the some people think he's the devil, some people think he's, a force for good. And a couple years ago, I think that I might have thought it was a lot more of a stretch to do a movie where the public is split on Spider-Man, because especially in this universe, I mean, he helped to save the world. It's like Spider-Man's like objectively good. But I have lived through 2020 and 2021, and if it's taught me anything, it's that some people will believe whatever you tell them. And so it is now far more believable for me to see this universe where you have a guy like J. Jonah Jameson who's basically saying this guy's bad, and you have a bunch of people go, yeah, he is bad. And then you have Peter Parker. He's got to go to high school as Spider-Man. Like, everybody knows that he's Spider-Man, and like the pressure, I mean, you already have the pressure of, hey, I'm Spider-Man, but now you have the pressure of going to high school as Spider-Man. I mean, it's been a while since I was in high school, a couple decades now, but I still remember that, like, if you farted in second period, then everybody else knew about it by lunch, and then you didn't hear the end of it for like 2 or 3 weeks. Now imagine that instead of farting in second period, you're Spider-Man, which is like the biggest second period fart that you could possibly imagine. So it makes sense that this kid is going to be looking for some way out. I mean, desperate times call for desperate measures. Pretty much the only thing he can do is hang out on the roof with Zendaya, which is fun, but I think even that's going to get old after a while. And I know that's probably going to get me on social media. How dare I suggest that hanging out on the roof with Zendaya would get old, but I think it would get old eventually. I'm not saying like, 2-3 days maybe it'd be cool, but like 2-3 weeks of it, I might be heading over to Doctor Strange too, which is exactly what Peter does. So Peter goes to see Doctor Strange, and there are two things that I want to note here. Number one, the Doctor Strange in a parka and cape ensemble, that is a mood that I'm going to aspire to this for the rest of my life. I didn't know I needed this as my kind of spirit animal, but like that's now my hero. If you're going to ask who my hero is, 15-20 minutes ago, I would have said that it was somebody like, Gandhi or, JFK, but now it is Doctor Strange in a parka and a cape in the Sanctum Sanctorum, which obviously he made cold, so it's like he created the conditions wherein he himself can sport this bomb-ass winter outfit. The thing that I'm not really quite sure about, but I'm going to reserve judgment and skepticism because, and I know this may be news to some people, this is only a trailer, and there's actually more context that's going to be found in the movie itself rather than what we see in these 3 minutes that are representative of a small slice of what we see. On its surface, it would seem like doing this kind of spell to monkey with the timeline would be a little bit reckless even for Doctor Strange, although he's kind of a new sorcerer, so maybe he's a little overconfident in his abilities. I could criticize that decision right now as maybe being a little bit out of character, but like I said, I don't know the circumstances under which we find Doctor Strange in this movie or how Peter convinces him what their conversation is, so that little bit of skepticism that I have, I'm going to stow that away for now as not really having enough context to make a judgment. There's also the moment where Wong tells Strange not to cast the spell, and then Strange is like, oh, don't worry, I won't, and then he winks to Peter, and I have to say that the Doctor Strange wink and the Agatha Harkness wink are too good not to put together. I mean, Disney, if you can't find something on Disney Plus to throw these characters into their own spinoff show, then somebody's not doing their job, because we've got to get these two together. It's like the Keymaster and the Gatekeeper. We got to find a way to get these two in the same room. So Doctor Strange takes Peter downstairs, which sounds a little weird, and casts a spell for everyone in the world to forget that Peter Parker is Spider-Man. But of course, Peter gets a little neurotic about it. And he's like, well, no, what about this person? What about this person? And Doctor Strange keeps saying like, hey, shut up, kid. I'm trying to work here. But something goes wrong. Zippity-doo-dah, multiverse. And I'm also curious about how all of these different scenarios are going to coalesce or combine or intertwine with each other, because I thought that the multiverse was created in Loki when a very long conversation ended with a particular action being taken against a variant of a future supervillain that we're going to see in other Marvel films. And this seems to indicate that perhaps Doctor Strange caused it, but then there were also questions about what about Wanda and WandaVision? Did she do something? This is something else I'm going to kind of stow my skepticism about, because I understand it's already hard to have linked all of these movies together, but now you have all of these TV shows. You have to keep them relevant and somehow interconnected. But at the same time, I don't really know how these pieces are going to fit together well. And I'll just say I'm curious. I'm curious how they're going to try to get all of this together in one piece. I have faith that they will, but I think in the future, it's going to be hard to piece all of these things together into one whole that everyone can kind of step back from and say like, oh yeah, that all makes sense. So now we have Doctor Strange and Spider-Man in the multiverse of madness, and we get glimpses of some very MCU-type stuff. We have Inception-style shenanigans, which look a lot like the first Doctor Strange movie. We've got Doctor Strange knocking Peter's spirit out of his body, which is always a great visual. I don't care how many times they pull that out. I still think that's a really cool thing to look at. And then, of course, we have a train, because it's the MCU, and the MCU loves trains. We talked about this when we did the honest trailer for the MCU. I don't know what it is about these Marvel movies and their obsession with trains, but it seems like in just about every Marvel movie somewhere, there's a train. And I know you might look at that and say like, well, it's obviously some kind of a Doctor Strange manipulation. It's a train. A train by any other name is still a train. I guess it's kind of a cool set piece. Things go fast. You can go up on the roof and fight. There's lots of fun things you can do, and this is, it's a great shot of Doctor Strange kind of hanging out there, but the MCU and trains, the love story that continues and will continue apparently well into the 2020s. So then we get to the end of the trailer and we get confirmation of what we pretty much knew already. First, we get a hint that we may be seeing Willem Dafoe's Green Goblin. We see a pumpkin bomb. We hear that Green Goblin laugh. And then we actually get a look at Doc Ock himself, one of my favorite Marvel villains of all time, Alfred Molina coming back. And I gotta say, the years have treated Doc Ock very well. However, he got sucked through the multiverse. There was some glow up that went on with this transfer over to our universe. He seems to recognize, well, you never know. They could be playing with some stuff here, because it seems like he's looking at Tom Holland and saying, hello, Peter, but who knows? Maybe we're going to get some other Spider-Man here. That's the one thing that we really didn't get any confirmation on, the presence of another Spider-Man or Spider-Men. So let's all just keep grilling Andrew Garfield endlessly about it, because maybe one day he'll crack and tell us something.
I did not get a call.
That was sarcasm, by the way. I do not endorse the grilling of Andrew Garfield in any way, shape, or form. He's a national treasure to any country that he's currently in. And there we have it. We have a Spider-Man trailer. And like I say, I'm not a professional reactor. These are really just my thoughts. I was enthusiastic about this film. I remain enthusiastic about this film. I really didn't have huge expectations for this trailer. I kind of thought that I had the lay of the land on where we were going, and this pretty much just confirmed what I already thought. But that's kind of good. And I really think that the one thing that I take away from this is I hope that people take time and enjoy this trailer instead of immediately asking when they're going to get another trailer, because, first of all, I don't think we need another trailer. We're just a few months out from this movie coming out. Is there really anything else that we need to know about the film? We basically know the entire premise and glimpses of some of the cool stuff that may be in store. And wouldn't it be cool if we go into this movie not knowing some of the stuff that's going to happen, keeping some of the stuff that's just a surprise? Maybe we don't know going into the movie if Tobey Maguire or Andrew Garfield is in it. The thing that we have to understand is we have to be okay with the fact that maybe they're not, or maybe both of them aren't. But at the same time, isn't that surprise part of the wonder of going to the movies and anticipating a film? So I really do hope that everyone's digging this trailer and that people are happy with what they saw, that it raises anticipation for the movie. It seems to have hit a fever pitch on social media for all of the headlines saying that movie-going is dead. This is the most excitement I've seen around any movie in quite some time. So I think whenever this movie does come out, and again, I hope it is in December, I think a lot of people are going to go see it. What did you think of the trailer? Are you excited for the movie? Let me know down in the comments below. And as always, thank you for watching me here on the channel. Stay tuned. I had charts that came out earlier today. I was kind of just settling down into my post-charts lull when this trailer came out, and then we had to, jump back in the studio and get back in front of the camera. But I'll be doing some reviews later this week. Candyman is coming out this weekend. I'm looking forward to that one, and I hope to bring you a review there. Some other movies that have come out on streaming in the past couple weeks that I want to talk about, plus all the news, any other breaking news that's going to happen this week, as well as just really anything in the world of movies that I want to talk about. It's exciting to be able to bring that to you right here on the channel. Thank you so much for watching. Please stay safe, and I'll see you next time. Bye.